Well, here we are again. It's Monday and it's coffee catch-up time. Got my long black ready to go. Hope you guys have got your coffees and you are excited to be joining us for what's an interesting episode for me and quite an exciting one at the same time, because today what I see is a combination of two of my massive passions in life. For those of you that are aware, my previous life all about tennis, and now my passion about Wealth Mentor. So today I get to join the two of them together and bring on the concept of someone from my tennis life into the Wealth Mentor life, which is certainly very exciting. Now, just want to make sure that we are all jumping on and everybody can see this as we are going live. So just check on all our systems that we're good. Looks like we are good to go and we can rip into it. So thank you to everybody that's joining us. Happy Monday. I realize that, pretty much all of us are still in lockdown. For those of you outside of Auckland, my fingers are crossed that, hopefully you can get out of lockdown in the near future. I'm not so sure for Auckland, unfortunately, but hey, it is what it is. I have got a really exciting week in terms of the coffee catch-ups, and I'll give you a little bit of more details later on about the rest of the week and who we've got joining us over the coming days. But what I would like to do is I have a great pleasure, and I'm very excited, like I said before, about the combination of my tennis life and Wealth Mentor today, to have someone who is truly inspirational in the tennis scene. He's achieved a massive amount. I mean, the dude is an ambassador for Wilson. Wilson, I was sponsored by Wilson as a tennis coach, but this dude is an international ambassador for Wilson, an absolute legend. And I'm very pleased to have Alex joining me on the show today. Alex, are you there, my friend? Are you coming in?
Oh, yeah. Got my coffee.
Brilliant, mate. Got your coffee, good to go? Wicked. So, Alex, thank you so much for joining me today. It's as I said in the intro, I'm really quite excited about the fact that I'm joining my tennis life and Wealth Mentor together today. And you're the first one to kind of get in that bit of combination. So, welcome.
Yeah, epic. Thanks for having me.
Awesome.
Excited to be here and have a bit of a chat with you.
Yeah, wicked, man. And where are you currently? Are you back down the line, or are you still in Auckland? Where are you currently?
I'm locked down with my brother and his young family. He's got a 5-month-old baby, so it's gut-wrenching to be locked down, but it's real cool to be spending time with my niece and their family. So yeah, loving it.
Awesome. So, Alex, your career, essentially you've gone down the route of becoming a tennis player, which, I had aspirations of something very similar until I got to about 16, 17 and found beer, and then kind of it was a slowly steady demise down, and now I'm actually coach for many years, and we hang out on the court because you represent Cockle Bay Tennis Club, a club that I've been part of for many years in the Caraval team. So what made you go down in the life or the journey of becoming a tennis player?
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's kind of like, it probably sounds cliche, but just kind of grew up in a tennis family. I actually played a whole lot of sports: soccer, basketball, which is a bit of a tough one with one arm, cricket, swing the bat with one arm, and probably a better bowler than a batter. But the one that I loved, and it was the one that I stuck with and wanted to play. I think I gave up everything else around the age of 15, 16. But yeah, it's cliche, but I think it's the one that I really loved. And when I went to bed at night, when I was trying to figure out whether I should do soccer or tennis, I couldn't picture waking up the next day and not going on a tennis court, but I kind of could picture myself not going on a footy field. So that's what it came down to for me.
Interesting. And well, you've mentioned the fact, one arm and tennis. I mean, it's funny that you've gone for an upper body sport that you have to, that was the route that you went down. But obviously for you, it's like that meant nothing. It was all about the passion that you had for the sport.
Yeah. And I think that comes from my family, kind of just getting me into doing everything, whether it was running around chasing my brothers or riding motorbikes, swimming, anything, they just kind of pushed me into it. And if I was a little bit nervous, my brothers kind of gave me a kick up the ass, which was awesome. two older
Yeah.
brothers. And yeah, I don't know. I've just kind of always thought of myself as the same as everyone else, growing up through primary school and high school and stuff. And it's probably only very recently where I've kind of said to myself, holy shit, like I do have one arm and I am different, you know? And that's kind of come about because I can kind of use it to inspire and kind of help other people like me, which I really, really want to do, whether it's now or later in my life, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And you say the whole values. I mean, for me, that's a massive part of who I am and what I become, because I look at the values passed down from my parents, the sacrifices that they made for the better life for me and my sister moving to New Zealand. I mean, that must have been huge for you as you know, growing up. Obviously, your older brothers, to have your parents passing on those values of success, no matter what, it's massive.
Yeah, and I think this might not be a great thing for a sports player, but to be able to go out and like love what you're doing and give it 100%, and the outcome, you look at it as a positive no matter what, you know, like even if I lose, I look at it as a positive. I've been traveling the world for the last 5 years. I went to school in America, and although I may not be where I want to be on the tennis court as good as I wanted to be, I've had so many cool trips and met so many cool people, and yeah, hard to beat.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, I mean, the way I see you've achieved, you know, really something quite special, and you achieved the international tennis ranking. You know, and in terms of tennis from New Zealand, it's not like we have abundance of players out there making huge achievements and getting this. So that there in itself is a huge achievement. So I think it's something, don't understand it, you know, be really proud of that. It's really awesome.
Yeah, and I am. I'm like, I'll never forget that moment. And I think that happened in Guam, and then I went to Portugal after that, and I had people coming up to me, kind of letting me know how amazing it is, you know, and how they've might have traveled 10, 15 years on tour. And I had a couple of people come up to me and be like, don't underestimate what it is you've done, you know, it's a hard thing to do. So I kind of do have that respect for how hard it is and stuff. It's just obviously like personal goals and things.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of personal goals, that must be something that you're big on. Within our Wealth Mentor family, it's always about the goals and striving to achieve, and finding strategies to achieve what you want to find in your goals. You must be big on setting goals and getting to it, and probably a big part of that is a strong mindset in order to keep driving to those goals.
Yeah, it's probably not one of my strong suits is making goals, but it is. I mean, there's always been this drive inside me, and these goals that I set for myself. I never really wanted to fail, obviously. I think I could have probably been better at goal setting when I was young. I think the love of the sport was probably the thing, and the love of wanting to go to tennis and play and have fun. It's funny when I look back at how I was at squads and stuff like that. It was so much about being there and having the best time. Sometimes I find myself looking back and thinking, shit, I wish I'd just worked that smidgen harder, you know? I always give everything a real 100% crack, but yeah, goals is something I could have done better, but it's definitely something that I've always got in my mind, and short-term goals are a big thing, yeah, as well.
Yeah. And in terms of mindset, and you know, when no matter what the situation, you strive and you work your, I mean, headspace is so vital on tennis court, and something that, you know, I mean, I struggled as a junior, and I know many juniors do. The concept of being a tennis player and you're out there, you are by yourself. You have no one to talk to. You've got some dude across the net there who wants to beat you. You want to beat them. You suddenly, you know, something doesn't feel right, or there's so many things. The wind comes, and you know, you're having to deal with so much in your head that it's probably something that you really have to be quite tough upstairs. And go on to play to your level. That must have been a massive part for you.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's like in the bigger picture as well. Take that out of just tennis and sports. Mental health in general, you know, you got to be so strong just to get through 70 or 80 years of life. I'm such a happy-go-lucky, like love life, every day, like such a happy person, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when lockdown happened and I kind of got stuck in New Zealand, I never thought I could be someone that would have like a mental health struggle. And I'm not sure I did even, but I struggled a lot with that feeling of being stuck and not being able to do what I want. All my friends, well, a lot of my friends overseas. And that kind of just, that got me to go and see a psychologist, a sports psychologist, with a few other things that happened in tennis while I was back home. And then from there, like I've just kind of blossomed, and it's really like going to see that psychologist about life and tennis has been just insane for my tennis. Like I've just learned so much about life, tennis, and I think the tennis can do the same thing for life, you know? It's kind of gone the opposite way for me. Going to the psychologist has helped me come around in the tennis side of things. But I think tennis players in general, and sports players, I guess, but tennis players having to go out there and face the world and the world of tennis on their own is insane. Like just even like traveling over to all these different countries alone and not having a coach. You just kind of build friendships and figure things out with mates, you know, like me and my friends overseas will kind of coach each other and watch each other's matches and figure it out on our own, which is something I really love about kind of the whole traveling on tour and not having huge amounts of money to take a coach and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And then in terms of coaching, I know that you're big on giving back, and you know, this, speaking from personal experience, the first year that you came across and played for Cockle Bay, the inspiration that you brought to our team, the energy that you brought to our team, we won the title. Boom, we'll take that one. You know, and we're definitely not the highest budget team, but we got out there and we bonded as a team and we achieved. I mean, being able to give back in many ways is something quite powerful. I mean, it's something I loved with my coaching. I know that you're moving into that coaching space, especially while you're stuck in New Zealand here. What does that mean to you in order to help people and guide the next generation?
Oh, I love it. And just going back to the team atmosphere, it's just something that tennis players don't have that often. And then going off to play college tennis and getting that kind of team atmosphere and kind of gelling as a team and playing for others is a huge thing in tennis. You're just out there, as you said before, playing for yourself. But I think that team spirit and that team atmosphere is something that I just love the feeling of it, you know? And for Cockle Bay, it was awesome. Like we had a couple of young kids in the team and we kind of started getting some midweek practices and the seniors in the team, which was cool. Jimmy Meredith, legend. And just I love an atmosphere like that. And if you can give back a little bit of something, advice, that's awesome. Nothing better.
So in terms of you know, growing up as a tennis player with one arm, what are some of the challenges that you faced? Obviously serving, the rest of the shots you can get away with one arm. One of the other things that probably comes to mind for me is change of grip. You know, what are some of those challenges that you had to overcome, and what did you do about it? Like, I mean, I know that you even made a bit of a shift on the serve as well with you know, your ball toss.
I think I'd spent my whole life playing with my prosthetic arm on. I've got it here somewhere. So I've always played with this and put the ball in the hand near to serve. And I think I spent my whole life not knowing that there might be a possible change, because I had this awesome prosthetic arm that I'd grown up with. It's helped me tie shoelaces and do all sorts of things, ride motorbikes, bikes. So then I was over in Thailand and I hurt my stump and I couldn't wear my prosthetic. I couldn't put it into the socket. And then from there I was like, holy shit, what am I going to do? And my friends, this is where like friends and family and people that kind of live around you, it's so cool to have like a great bunch of people, because my friends were like, I don't know if I can say that word actually, get out on court and let's train, you know? And so I was like, holy shit, okay, let's go. We did that, and I was like, damn, like this is so cool. I can hit a backhand and actually release my arm and let that go, you know? And when I had one, I could never really release it, could go to about there, not there. So that was awesome. I was loving like that freedom of being out on court and playing and feeling free. And actually also feeling the racket when I'm turning it and changing grips and things on my stump, like feeling it instead of just having like this piece of awesome piece of plastic touching it.
Yeah.
So that was a massive change. And then I actually went to Taipei and I played with my arm on for return games where I didn't, for service games where I needed to use it to serve. And then for return games, I'd take it off and chuck it to the back of the court. I had all these people kind of looking at me cross-eyed thinking, oh, this Kiwi fella. And then, yeah, from there, I played like the rest of the season like that. And then I came back to New Zealand and I fell over again and hurt my arm again, and I couldn't wear it. Like, it swelled up way too big. And residentials was about 6 days away at that stage, I think, which is residentials is like probably the biggest tournament, or it used to be the biggest tournament.
New Zealand champs, essentially.
Yeah. And I was like, shit, like, it's not looking very good for me to be able to play that. A little bit of negativity in there. And then I went to train with my mates. I was like, I might as well keep training. And one of my really good mates, Rob, and another fella from Auckland, we went out on court, started training, playing, and they were like, all right, we're going to play some points. And I was like, sweet, I'll be the umpire. I'll sit up on the chair and just have a bit of a geeze while you guys play. And they're like, mate, come on, get out here. Just try and serve with your stump. Like, who cares what happens? Just chuck it up and see what happens. So I got the ball, and now when I serve, I put the ball in there and kind of just pop it up. And from that moment on, I haven't ever used my arm again to play tennis. And just, I think for the next 6 or 7 days while I was waiting to play residentials, I went out with a box of balls every day, probably twice a day, and just practiced with Rob. Rob was awesome. That's why I like having a real good group of friends and family and stuff to kind of push you when you do have that little bit of a negative moment or a kind of like a not sure about it moment.
Absolutely.
So he's been awesome. A whole bunch of my friends, my family, everything. Not in the tennis scene, you know.
Absolutely, and I know Rob, obviously he's a part of our team as well. He's a legend, and I love what he's doing with his startup now, with his new business, and it's really exciting to see that happening with these the next generation coming through. And one of the things that I always love to talk about and to kind of bring into it is for everybody, the concept of having wealth means something different. I mean, there's so many ways that wealth can be perceived for different people. And, tomorrow on my show, I've got a dude that drives a McLaren. Dude, obviously, wealth means something to him. What does wealth actually mean to you as someone who's a professional tennis player out there doing it?
Should I send you a sponsorship proposal so you can hand it to the fella tomorrow?
Good thinking. Talking about sponsors as well. I mean, you're a Wilson ambassador as well. That's amazing. You're hanging out with Nishikori the other day over in America doing some stuff. Have you met Rog?
I haven't. I was supposedly gonna meet Roger because he was coming to that same thing, and then for the match that he did in South Africa, he got injured. He hurt his knee or something, and then he pulled out last minute. So that was gut wrenching. But met a whole host of cool players, and awesome to be a part of that Wilson kind of scene. But going back to the whole what wealth is for me. It's a tough one. I've kind of probably spent my whole life kind of living off my parents helping me and different sponsors here and there kind of helping me do what I love. And I've been so lucky to have that. And I've always kind of had this feeling that I don't have anything to my name, I'm doing what I love. I'm living the dream. But as a tennis player who's not anything on the rankings, really, you don't earn any money. So it's been like this. It's been a little bit of a tough thing as I've been getting older, especially in the probably years from 23 to 25-ish, while I was overseas playing in Thailand and over in Europe and stuff. I had no income, really. You get bits and bobs from winning this and that, but no income. So there was a bit of time there where I kind of had this feeling where I'm not moving forward in my life. I'm not moving ahead. These people I went to school with are getting real world jobs, kind of finishing up this, getting married, doing all these crazy things, which aren't that crazy. and I'm kind of like out there living my dream, and yeah. So wealth for me is having those memories and those like friendships and things all around the world. And I think the last 5 years of my life I'll never ever forget. And there's just, I mean, those memories pop up on my phone all the time, and I'm like, holy shit, that was a year ago. How cool. So it's amazing. But I've been kind of, since I've been working a little bit more, feeling way better about that, and kind of looking into a few investments, and feeling like I am kind of building something behind me, which is really cool.
Wicked. Now, Alex, I mean, in terms of, currently we've got the Paralympics on. And for those that can tune in, and I watched a bit of rugby yesterday. It was really quite cool to watch that. Why are you not at the Paralympics? Explain to us. I already know, but explain to everybody else.
Yeah, and it's so inspiring watching all those guys. I mean, some of the people there, I saw a guy playing table tennis with no hands, and I just watched that stuff, and I'm like, holy, these guys are legends. So inspiring to sit on my couch and watch them over there doing that and living their dream. But for the tennis side of things, you have to be in a wheelchair to be over there. I think that's the only tennis class they have. But I think probably 2 or 3 years ago, I was invited to play in the TATP. It's like a standing disability tour, which is kind of starting to come to fruition. And I'm hoping that kind of lifts off a bit more, and I want to be a part of that, and help that grow, and kind of help tennis as a disabled sport as well kind of grow, and inspire it to more kids who are born like me, or born missing a leg, or anything. I just really want to be an ambassador for that, and help the sport grow, not just for able-bodied people.
Yeah, it's wicked, man. You're an absolute legend. And I'll put the floor over to you for the last comments. Last comments that you want to leave people with. I mean, like I say, I'm extremely proud to be mates with you and to see what you've achieved. What is something that you would put forward to people out there, whether it's for their investing or for their personal, or going through lockdown? Some words that you'd like to share.
I think probably for me the most important thing, and the next part that I say is going to be real cliche, but the first part is to surround yourself with awesome people who push you and love you and want you to do well and succeed, and just go into everything with a bloody awesome kind of mindset. And the second thing is just to, anything's possible, like have a crack at everything. And if you're standing on the edge of the court and you're a little bit unsure of yourself, just give yourself a tap on the shoulder and walk out there and try and own it, like try and fake it till you make it. But the cliche part is anything's possible, and just give it a bloody crack. Yeah,
you're an absolute legend. If anybody wants to follow any of your progress with your tennis and what you're doing, where can they find you?
Instagram's probably the best, Alex Hunt Tennis, and also it's on Facebook, Alex Hunt Tennis. So yeah.
Awesome, cool. And I've also shared with everybody the link to the tennis channel story that they did on you, which is really quite cool. Thanks for everything you do for the sport. Hopefully we get through this lockdown, we can get out there and give Carabao a crack again this season and take down some of those teams. So thanks again for joining us, and I'm really excited. We've got a massive week, Alex. I'm sure you're going to be tuning in, man. Tomorrow I've got a dude who drives a McLaren as daily driver. Wednesday I've got a guy who's probably one of the best real estate agents in the country, owns multiple agencies as well. Thursday I've got probably one of the most out there futuristic thinkers, and someone I work very closely alongside with Wealth Mentor. And then Friday I've got a dude who runs a leadership camp. He has Sam Whitelock on the camp, and next thing, Sam Whitelock is the captain of the All Blacks. Dude, we've got a massive week. Thanks for joining us, Alex. It's been absolutely cool to have you here, my friend, and we'll see you again soon. And most importantly, for all of you guys out there, make sure you stay awesome. Have a good day.
Cheers, bro.